Imagine a convicted murderer who secures eternal paradise with a final breath, while a lifelong philanthropist who lacks faith faces condemnation. Most people respond to this scenario with visceral anger. This reaction reveals our reliance on the moral scoreboard, a cognitive framework used to judge the world. This scoreboard uses transactional logic. We treat good deeds as deposits toward a reward, and bad deeds as withdrawals that lead to punishment. We are going to deconstruct this paradox using systemic logic, moving past simple platitudes to see how this system actually functions. Our sense of injustice assumes that the Creator uses the same relative mathematical scale as human society. Consider an exam where the only passing grade is 100. In this system, a score of 10 and a score of 85 are mathematically identical. While one student performed better than the other, both occupy the same category: failure to reach the threshold. If the universe operates on a requirement for total perfection, the mathematical reality is that humanity's survival rate drops to 0. We typically map morality on a horizontal axis, judging ourselves based on our distance from other people. This horizontal distance creates a sense of righteousness. We feel secure as long as we remain better than the worst examples on the line. The vertical standard of the Creator shifts the entire geometry of the system. This vertical y-axis represents total holiness, a threshold requiring 100% purity of action and motive. When viewed from this perspective, the horizontal distance between the murderer and the philanthropist becomes statistically meaningless. Though they are far apart on the ground, they are equally distant from the peak. Romans 3:23 formalizes this systemic failure, stating that all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Regardless of their position on the x-axis, every human fails the vertical requirement. Because 0 candidates qualify for entry under this standard, heaven cannot exist as a club for good people. Entry requires a different mechanism entirely. To test this mechanism, we look at the thief on the cross in the book of Luke. This man was a criminal with no remaining time to improve his score or perform good deeds. Despite his history, Jesus grants him immediate entry to paradise. If we define salvation as a wage, payment earned through moral labor, this outcome represents a systemic glitch. The Creator's system operates on amnesty rather than merit-based wages. Amnesty is a formal act that relieves a person of the consequences of their actions. Under this legal definition, the crime is not ignored. Rather, the cost of the penalty is transferred to and absorbed by a third party. On the cross, the Creator unilaterally paid the debt of the criminal using the life of his own Son. This is grace, receiving a standing that was never earned. Grace maintains the requirements of justice while allowing the Creator to absorb the cost of the debt, so the bankrupt individual does not have to. This raises a new question. If a criminal receives amnesty, why does a good person who rejects faith face condemnation? We have to move past medieval imagery and look at the ontology of these states. Ontology is the branch of philosophy that studies the nature of existence. Heaven represents total union with the source of life. Hell represents total separation from that source. When a person rejects amnesty, they declare their own sovereignty. They choose their own jurisdiction rather than surrendering to the Creator. This choice results in moving outside the life source. The Creator honors human free will, even to its most difficult limit. Hell is the result of the Creator giving humans exactly what they requested, an existence entirely devoid of His presence. It is the ultimate respect for human independence. Demanding fairness from the universe carries heavy logical implications. Suppose every internal impulse, every flash of jealousy, greed, or hidden malice, was measured against a standard of perfect purity. If the system requires a 100% match with a perfect being, then even a single internal stain creates a logical incompatibility. Under this rigorous audit, every human being fails. If the standard is perfection, the result is universal disqualification. This reality erases all pride. Under a perfect standard, the philanthropist and the criminal share the exact same moral bankruptcy. The cross provides the only bridge across this gap. Ephesians 2:8-9 notes that rescue is a gift from the Creator, not a result of human work. The system requires faith to prevent any individual from claiming superiority over another based on their horizontal score. This radical form of equality provides a path for everyone, regardless of where they started. Carrying a moral scoreboard creates a constant psychological weight, the fear of never doing enough to tip the scales. Realizing that heaven is a sanctuary for the forgiven changes the entire paradigm. This system treats salvation as unilateral amnesty, not a wage for labor, and it views hell as the tragic fulfillment of human free will. Accepting grace offers release from the terror of the ledger. The system asks for humility rather than perfection. If you were audited today against a standard of total perfection, would you survive based on your own score? Share your thoughts on this logic in the comments. Thanks for watching Insight Engine. Letting go of the horizontal scoreboard is the only way to experience vertical freedom.